Well, welcome to Noel's World of Whiskey, and what have we got here? Well, we got two Gordon MacPhails, and both of them I do plan on reviewing, but I think we're going to go after Benromach distillery first. It is one that I've wanted to do a review on it. I'm kind of new to the Benromach, but been impressed with it. Going to give you a very brief history on this distillery. It was actually built in 1898 by a guy by the name of Duncan McCallum and another fellow, F.W. Brickman. And I believe Brickman was the spirits. He was a spirits merchant. And McCallum, I believe, worked at Glen Nevis distilleries. So they did have some experience, but the experience didn't help them much because they were they were starting a distillery right when the whiskey depression started. They had gone through a boom, and no doubt they were optimistic, and things happened fast, and it was very hard back in those days to forecast, the future. So anyways, it took them a few years to get the finances just to get it in production, and I believe it was around 1900 they were able to run it for about half a year, and then they ran out of funds. And so basically a company by the name of Harvey McNair and Company, they were a London-based company that purchased it, and they operated it right up until I believe it was 1925, and then it was acquired by Associated Scottish Distillers, which later of course became part of Scottish Malt Distillers Limited, and DCL, and of course Diageo. Now there were other owners in between, but I'm not going to get into it. There's no real interesting stories that really go along with it. Basically, DCL, they ran it pretty off and on. It wasn't a big distillery, so their production was small, and it was, I think, a secondary focus for them. And it was modernized in 1974. It was updated. But unfortunately, in 1983, they mothballed it. They shut her down completely. The unfortunate thing is that once it was shut down, a company like Diageo, a lot of times they need parts, so they start to cannibalize these old. If they don't think you're going to get them up and running again, they cannibalize them for parts and that. So, anyways, 1993, Gordon MacPhail and Company, Gordon and MacPhail and Company, ended up purchasing it, and I've done some reviews on some of their whiskeys, and also some research that I've shown you on the company itself, Gordon and MacPhail. They are an interesting company, an independent bottler, and so they had quite a job because they bought a bare bones distillery without a lot of equipment in it. So from 1997, they had their work cut out for it, but they redesigned it so one man can run the operation. So, they're working with the times, and some interesting things. The distillery does produce an organic product. It does only use organic barley, and they play around with about 12 to 15 ppm peat. They're trying to focus on the old-fashioned way of distilling. They want the traditional methods. A lot of what they do in the even with one-man operation, it is done traditionally. And in 1998, when it was officially opened, Prince Charles paid a visit. And he actually signed one of the casks. So the distillery did win in that 2014, it did win a gold for the best Speyside single malt, 12 years and under. So that kind of, I think, woke up a few people and started paying attention to Benromach. And it is on the Scotland's Malt Whisky Trail. So that's that is a whiskey trail in the Speyside, which includes Dallas Dew. That's kind of a historic distillery. It's no longer running, but it's now a museum. And of course, the Speyside cooperage. That's part of that whiskey trail as well. So, but anyways, just a little bit of quick stuff about the size of the operation there. I think it's around 150,000 liters, something like that. I believe their mash tun is about 1.5 tons. They have quite a few washbacks, large washbacks, a dozen plus, maybe 13. But their fermenters, if I remember rightly, they take a long time to ferment. There's something like 90 hours. So, but the copper stills, I believe they're 5,000, 6,000, and maybe 8,000, somewhere in that range. I'll write it down in the review there. But anyways, that's enough for now. Let's get into her. The Benromach 15. Got introduced to this about a year ago. Year and a half ago. Year ago. So it's not something that I was really familiar with. I'd seen it before. I'd seen it, numerous times, probably in the days when Gordon MacPhail first, started bottling. I was probably looking at some of the 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds and that. But I got a 15. It's bottled at 43 ABV. Non-chill filtered. Not sure about the coloring. I'm going to say there probably is a little bit of coloring in it. I'll let you take a look at it, and you can see yourself there that. And this is they did change the look of this bottle, the branding of the bottle. I think it was kind of more of a copper color before, and this has kind of got that. What did one reviewer describe it as? Your Soviet look. It has a Soviet look. Anyways, there you are. So let's give it a dram. Pour a dram there, and as I mentioned, 12 to 15 ppm. We'll start off with the nose. We've got very light smoke and lots of sweet stuff going on here. My understanding is that they have more sherry casks than they do bourbon casks, Gordon MacPhail. So there is a lot of sherry finishing, and no doubt in this here that it's sherry finished as well. Well, I get a little more smoke now. So the sweet and sours again. Golly, I just did a Talisker 18, and darn it, I got some of the Talisker 18 there. I guess that's a compliment. And this is a 43, and the Talisker was I believe it was a 45.8 ABV, 45.8 ABV, but this is a 43. I think it's 43 right on the butt, if I remember rightly. Let's take a look here and see. Yeah, 43% right on the. So we're getting we're dark fruit again, and I'm getting a little bit of rubber boots there. Yeah, some licorice. And it's got with the sweet notes there. It's the malt. The malt's kind of coming through, but the peat blends in with the malt there. It's not overpowering. But you've got to pretty much say it's sweet and sour and smoke in the background. A little bit of marmalade maybe. And of course some spices coming through here. I used the allspices before, I'm going to use them again. Yeah, ginger. And very light floral notes with the smoke. Okay, the palate. Smoke is more prevalent in the on the palate. It's for 12 to 15 ppm. It definitely delivers the peat, but not overpowering. Maybe not quite as much as maybe a Lacheg, a little bit less than a Lacheg, maybe closer to a Bowmore. But we've got the I've got some happening. Ginger, pardon me, the ginger. That wasn't cinnamon, ginger. Got the ginger happening, and a bit of licorice coming in here. Yeah, it's almost a Dutch licorice, you know, that salty licorice. So. But wee bit of a maritime taste to it, eh? But dry, a bit of a dry finish here on the tongue. But it's got some body to it. It's coating the mouth. I'm going to top that one up. So the candy's showing up. A little bit of vanilla fudge. And that's, again, smoke in the background. More maritime though. Yeah. But really coating the mouth. Still got the licorice going on here. Okay, we're gonna go for the finish. To the finish. So this is actually for 43. It's going to have a medium finish. I'm actually quite surprised. There is body here. Definitely as much body as the Talisker 18, if not more. So it's got some thickness to it, and a good coating on the mouth. The allspice, the ginger, a little bit of white pepper maybe, and I'm going to say your not caramel. Maybe Fig Newtons. I think that's a good one. Fig Newtons. A little bit of smoke. A smoky Fig Newton. That's what it is. It's this is a decent drink. Gordon MacPhail, they've got a lot of years experience. They go way back. And I've been really lucky with a lot of their bottlings, and I've had Kalilas that they've bottled that 13. I think there's a 13 Kalila. I really liked it. This one here I'm going to do a review on. That's the Linkwood. I think it's a 15, and through the years and that, I've had various Gordon and MacPhails. They usually get it right, This is interesting distillery because it's not a big production distillery. When I was doing the research on it, everything is just in miniature, and they got one guy, or maybe there's a couple. I think they got a visitor center now, so you need a few people for the visitor center. But I believe it's a popular stop off. This is on the map now. A few years back, very few people knew of it, but it really is on the map now. And this is why, because they're producing an interesting whiskey here. 43. So let's add some water to this. And 43. I'm not too nervous about adding water here because I think it can take it. So we did add a little extra there, so we'll find out if it can take it. A little swirl. Oh my golly. Figs. Figs, vanilla, fudge, and figs. Even some of those sultana cookies that have the raisins. And God, I'm getting maybe even some oatmeal. Ovaltine. I was going to say oatmeal granola, but it's more like Ovaltine. Chocolate Ovaltine. And we got still the floral stuff going on. Heather. Bit of licorice going on. But sweet licorice. Back to the chocolate Ovaltine. Didn't hurt it. It certainly didn't hurt it, the water. Okay, water palette. Wow. Beautiful. Smoke. I'll stay with the Ovaltine, chocolate Ovaltine, but creamy, like a creamy chocolate Ovaltine. I've got definitely the almost latte, spicy latte with nutmeg, and I'm still getting that coating even with water. I'm getting the coating. 43%. This is one of the thickest bodies I've seen in a 43. Golly, I just finished reviewing an 18 Talisker that was a 45.8. And this is there, at least, or more. I'm impressed. Smoke. Touch of the Maritimes in that smoke. Getting, maybe a little bit of the Bowmore, but a gentle Bowmore. This is first fill sherry. All their casks are first fill. It says it right on the box. I believe Keith Cruickshank is their distillery manager. He's the distiller. Evidently, it's not one man anymore. They've got a bit of a crew there, 2 or 3 people for the distillery, and then of course they've got the visitor center up and running, so that requires a few people. So, but Keith Cruickshank is the guy. They are very focused on their casks, all first fill, whether it's a bourbon. They do use a lot of seasoned casks. They'll get because it's really hard to get the hogshead, the sherry, the wine casks, and that they're getting harder to get. But the thing about seasoning these casks, they can get the oak. They can control the oak. And from what I gather, they do mix. It's not all European oak. There is some American white oak in that. So, but the key is 2 3 years. 3 years, I think, is what when I was reading about this, I think it was 3 years seasoned in those casks, and you can taste it. You can really taste it here. So, this one's for me. Oh, the spices, the smoke, a bit of licorice, the Ovaltine. There's some stuff going on here. This is an 87. It's an 87. There's a lot of whiskeys out there that they think they should be 87s. This one is an 87, and it's just a little distillery. It's just a very, I think it's one of the, if not the smallest on the Speyside. Gordon MacPhail, they've had I've just had a lot of good experiences with their whiskeys, and they're doing the right thing. They seem to have a good guy there looking after the distillery. He seems to have a lot of passion for what he does. I'm reading a few of the articles and a few of his interviews. I'm looking forward to visiting this next year. It is part of the it's part of the Malt Whisky Trail. I believe that at Dallas they've turned into a museum. It's because it's no longer, of course, a functioning distillery. The Speyside cooperage, and so on. So this is part of that trail. So it's going to be well worth visiting, and this is really worth your while. I am impressed with the 15. There's a lot there for 43 ABV. It's a good whiskey. My palate does not lie. This is a good whiskey. I'm going to say 87. Put it on your shelf. And I'm going to ask you all to drink wisely, drink intelligently, do not drink and drive, and until the next time, so much.